What is up, Dallas Cowboys fans? IndyCar Tim here with your Dallas Cowboys New York Giants post game as the Dallas Cowboys knock off the New York Giants 21-6 in, I don't know if you want to call it confident fashion. At least I'm not very confident about this win. Not sure how you guys feel about it. Let's start with the good before we get into the bad, shall we? The good, of course, once again being your Dallas Cowboys defense. Some really unoriginal people out there on social media keep calling them the Doomsday Defense or the Doomsday 2 or whatever. Can people not come up with anything original anymore? We got to go back to the Doomsday. Can't we figure something out? Does that mean that when the offensive line gets good again, they're going to call them the Great Wall of Dallas Part 2 again or something? I don't know. It just seems like, you know, back in the 70s, we had some really cool nicknames for some teams and some units and position groups. But whatever. I digress. Yes, your defense saved the day once again today, Dallas Cowboys fans. And it was time for the offense against a pretty bad team to gain some confidence and to gain some stability. And I don't think any of that happened on the offense. But let's talk about the defense to start here. 4 more turnovers on the day. This is the 3rd consecutive week that the Dallas Cowboys have had 4 turnovers. That has not happened since the 1994 season for the Cowboys. That's all good. You had the picks. You had Jordan Lewis on the tip, Malik Hooker running the route better than the receiver did, and Trayvon Diggs with an acrobatic just circus catch that had to be reviewed to be confirmed in the end zone. And that pretty much did things in for Mike Glennon, the backup / starting quarterback for the Giants today, as he ended up getting yanked for the newly acquired for the Giants, Jake Fromm, formerly from Georgia. Of course, we know he was drafted by Buffalo, and the Giants signed him off the practice squad just a couple weeks ago. Fromm looked really good, by the way, too. I was highly impressed with Fromm as he... let's see, on 6 of 12 passing, 82 yards. Mike Glennon, on the other hand, 13 of 24 passing, just 99 yards. Glennon just did not look good all day. He looked timid, he looked uncertain, he looked uncomfortable. And I think the Cowboys defense, Dan Quinn's unit, made him that way for sure. But yeah, the defensive unit, constant pressure all day on the quarterbacks. They didn't get a sack on Glennon, but they got one on Fromm. And we know, though, that there was pressure all day on Glennon. And the Cowboys' defensive line, especially in the first half, just absolutely owned the Giants' offensive line. Now, things took a turn there in the second half a little bit. The Giants were getting a little more confidence. They were able to throw the ball a little bit, able to run the ball a little bit. But I think all things considered, the Cowboys' defense by far the better side of the ball today, and that's been the case. That may be the case for the rest of the season. It wasn't at the beginning, but this just may be what we have now on our hands here with the Cowboys. Now on to the offensive side of the ball. And Cowboys fans, I'm not real sure. By the way, Cowboys scored 15 points of their 21 points on those turnovers. So, yeah, defense chipping in there big time. I don't know if you guys are ready to ring the panic bell, hit the panic button, whatever you want to do on this Cowboys offense. About midway through the game, I was texting with my podcast peers, Colby Sapp and Big Red from over at the Drunk Sports Podcast. And I was hitting the panic button. I was a little bit knee-jerking a little bit. That if this is the Cowboys offense the rest of the season, we can kiss any success in the playoffs goodbye. And I'm coming off of that just a little bit, but man, I don't have a lot of confidence in this offense right now. Dak Prescott is still off. He is at this point since, I don't know, week 8 or so when he come back. Week 8 against Minnesota. I'm sorry, Atlanta. Denver, week 9. He just, since he come back from the calf, he has not looked good. And I just said this about Mike Glennon, how uncomfortable he looked, how uncertain he looked at times. dude, Dak Prescott looked the same. He's looked the same for the past several weeks. And it is getting to the point that it's starting to alarm me a little bit. You know, is this just what Dak is now for the rest of the season until he can get an offseason to heal that calf? Is his confidence shaken? We saw very early on when he had that naked boot to the right and he threw that jump pass, which is, by the way, the exact same way he hurt the calf to begin with on that jump pass in overtime to CeeDee Lamb to win the Patriots game. That's where he got hurt, was when he landed. And, man, he just looked silly trying to jump and throw the ball because I was watching to see if he was going to stop because that's how he threw the interception to Holcomb last week against Washington, is on that same exact play. He stopped and set his feet before he threw the pass, and that gave Holcomb time to jump the route and intercept the ball on the pick six towards the end of the game that put the Washington football team back in the game. But anyway, so I was watching him specifically on that rollout, and he did jump and throw the ball. Wasn't a great throw as it got tipped and almost intercepted, but he just looked, I don't know, very awkward. He looked awkward doing it. He looked awkward when he leapt. He looked awkward when he landed, and so that calf is clearly still bothering him. And you know, if this is the offense that we're going to have, Dak averaged under 6 yards an attempt today throwing the ball, 5.9, 217 yards on 28 of 37 passing, 1 touchdown, sacked 3 times, passer rating of 98.6. That's pretty good. But that's probably a little bit easier to do when you're only averaging less than 6 yards a pass. So this is not the Dak that we're used to seeing that we saw early in the year. This is not the offense that we saw early in the year. There is zero explosiveness. There is zero downfield threat. Dak cannot throw the ball downfield accurately at all right now. And it shows. He's not even trying. And, you know, I don't know if Kellen Moore has picked up on that, if that's part of the game plan now. Kellen Moore's play calling has completely changed from what we saw early in the season, and it might be to accommodate Dak and his injury, his mental state, whatever. I just don't know if it's a confidence issue or if he's still physically unable to do the things that he was able to do early in the year. Don't know. But that aspect of this team terrifies me right now. As you go into, by the way, the Cowboys have clinched a playoff spot by virtue of, I believe, I haven't checked the score yet, but Atlanta beating San Francisco, the Cowboys would clinch a playoff spot. If Washington beats Philadelphia on Tuesday, I guess is when they're playing, then the Cowboys win the division. So, but look what Atlanta did, or Arizona did against the Lions today. You needed that to happen before your matchup against them in 2 weeks. You really need Green Bay to lose right now. Who's playing right now? Green Bay and Baltimore right behind me here. You really need Green Bay to lose too, but we'll focus on that. First order that we need to take care of, though, is making the playoffs, which it appears we've done. Then winning the division, which it appears they can do, of course, with, as I mentioned, the Washington win over the Eagles. So anyway, takeaways from the game. You just heard all of them. I'm terrified of the offense. I'm terrified of this offense going into the playoffs. Can you win a Super Bowl with defense? Well, you can, but you still got to score points on offense occasionally. And what you have 6 trips to the red zone today, and you got 1 touchdown out of it, 2 touchdowns. You know, I don't know, man. I have zero confidence in this team. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Find me on Twitter at IndyCarTim. I am, the podcast is at Cowboys Daily Pod on Twitter. Appreciate everybody tuning in here and listen to me rant. But I want to know what you guys think. Leave me a great comment here in the comments section. Let me know what you think about the game today and the Cowboys' future moving forward, headed into the playoffs, presumably. And if there's any way to fix this, or if just gonna have to wait the offseason for Dak to take care of this himself. But let me know how confident you are. Was this a good win? Was it a bad win? All of your thoughts on the game. I am IndyCar Tim. I appreciate you guys tuning in live from Frisco. We'll see you next time.